Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. A couple weeks ago, I did a YouTube hop that was hosted by Kim, who is Salty Beach Scrapper. And I did a folio that was heavily influenced by Rosa Kelly, but these were all my measurements and I just went for it. And a lot of people asked me for a tutorial. I didn't write down my measurements as I was making the book because I was just in my zone. And so I kind of measured everything, and so my measurements now may be just slightly different than the book, but it'll basically be the same. If you didn't see the book, it just opens up from the top. It's a folio. It has a waterfall. I'm just going to quickly go through it. You can watch the full video, you know, for a slow flip. And then the right side opens up, and this has a little flip book. This was definitely a Rosa Kelly interaction piece from one of her other folios. Here's the front page. This one opens up and it has a pocket. And then it opens up again to have two big flips. And then the middle is an accordion booklet, if you will. So again, I didn't follow any specific tutorial. I just kind of just went with it. So what you'll need, and excuse me, I have a very bad sinus infection, so I sound a little crazy, but we'll get through it. First and foremost, you're going to need your chipboard. I'm not going to cover it because I am going to give this to the winner of the YouTube hop, which was Vintology by Lola. That's Laura. So she knows how to wrap her chipboard and she'll know how to put it together. So I don't need to wrap this or anything. But the chipboard are these three pieces here. 1, 2, and 3. All I did was wrap it. I took 2 sheets of 8.5 by 11 paper. I taped them together on the spine, well, in the middle, and then I just wrapped all the chipboard together, leaving a little more than 1/8 of an inch in between the spine and the cover pieces. And then obviously you only have 1 inch of white on the 3 sides, and I just covered it with the pink paper. So that's a quick tutorial on how to do that. I've done several wrapping videos, so if anyone needs help with the wrapping, I have plenty of videos you can go back and reference. So that's what you'll need. Now for the base of it, I'm using 8.5 by 11 110-pound chipboard. It doesn't have to, I mean, cardstock, not chipboard. It doesn't have to be 110 pound. It's just, I just want it to be super sturdy. This particular one, I did use just regular weights. I think it was 65-pound weight paper because I knew this was a digital, well, I used 2 paper collections, Kimmy's digital, and then this one was the Echo Park, and you know how Echo Park is very thick, so I didn't need my pages to be that strong because I knew my pattern paper was going to be thick. And I printed Kimmy's paper collection from her Etsy store. I printed it on the same 65-pound weight cardstock, so I knew it was going to be super thick. But since this one I'm giving it away, I'm going to use the sturdy chipboard. All right, so your first cut is going to be, and I don't know why I did everything by 8 instead of 8 1/4, but, or 8.5, but I did everything by 8. So go ahead and cut your paper down to 5.5 by 8. So you'll end up with 2 pieces. You only need 1 for right now. Just put the other one to the side for the other, some of the other flips. Okay, so this is going to be our base. Now we need to build up from the middle. So that piece there is this piece, this middle piece. Okay, now we need to build our gusset and our flaps. So you're going to need 2 pieces. No. You're going to need 1 piece that is 6 by 8. So we're going to go ahead and cut this down. I'm going to cut this down to 8 first, because you can always use these big scraps. And then cut this down by 6. There really isn't a paper saving way to do this. I probably should have cut this the other way, but that's okay. So 6 by 8. So I'm going to, normally I take a, you know what, I am just going to do it. I take a pencil and write down what the measurement is, because you're going to cover that anyway. All right, so you got your one page that's 6 by 8. Now you need a page that's 6.5 by 8. So let me cut it the other way and see if there's any way to save paper. I don't think so. All right, so 6.5 by 8. No, there's not really a way to save the paper. So 6.5 by 8. Okay. So we'll put our trimmer away and we'll work on those 2 pages with the scoreboard. I just got leftover paper from previous projects. All right. So on the 6 by 8 piece, the first one you did, we're going to score it on the short side. So the 6-inch side, you're going to score it at a 1/2 inch and 1 inch. So 1/2 and 1. Okay. All right. And we're going to do the same thing on your 6.5 by 8 piece. Okay, we're going to score it on the short side, so the 6.5 inch side, at 1/2 inch. Oh gosh. And 1 inch. And remember, this is my thick paper, so I really got to make sure we get those score marks in there. All right, let's go ahead and move this out the way. And we're going to varnish the book. So just kind of varnish and varnish. I'm just flipping my tabs to the back and varnishing it. So you're going to have a piece that looks like that. Very Rosa Kelly-esque. Okay. I'm sure other people have done that. Well, I'm not sure, but they may have done this, but this is a great way to save paper, and I learned this technique from Rosa Kelly, so I'm going to give her all the glory. So, okay. Now, you have your piece that's 6.5 by 8. That's your left-hand side, and your 6 by 8 is your right-hand side. What you're going to do is go ahead and taper glue your 1/2 inch flap, just one of them. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and just attach that to your middle base on the back of your middle base, okay? If that makes sense. So I'm just going to open it up and I'm just going to attach it as best as you can without going over your score line, and just, you know, make it even as best as you can. Okay. And we're going to varnish that down. So you see here, this is the back. We attached it to the back of your middle piece. So now you have your left flap like this. Okay. We're going to repeat the same with your right flap. So I need my score tape, and I'm using 3/8 of an inch score tape. It's my favorite size of score tape because it gets right in the middle of this 1/2 inch. Just make sure you don't go over the score lines, and you varnish that glue on there very well. Okay, So again, we're just going to attach this to the base on the back. So just come up, make sure there's no overhang with your tape. Again, just make it even up to the score line, but not over it, and lay it down. A lot of people like to use wet glue at that point because they have a little wiggle room. If you're not comfortable with score tape, just get your regular, you know, elementary school glue, and you can rub it over the score tape, and it gives you a little extra wiggle room. So if you notice, my book is shorter. I wanted that little border, but I didn't want to have to punch the page, because if I mess up on the page and I have to tear it off and everything. And so what I did was I just punched this border using a Martha Stewart punch on a different piece of paper, and I just glued it, you know, the look I wanted. So you don't have to do that. You can keep it short to have like that little peekaboo. This would be a perfect spot to put those, you know, the border stickers that we don't know what to do with. That'd be a perfect spot to put it there. You can round the edges. You know, possibilities are endless. All right, so now let's work on, let me see. Let's work on this accordion booklet, because that's going to be on the bottom. So accordion booklet, we need inside waterfall. Okay, we need 4 pieces at 5.5 by 7 3/4. So if you have a better paper trimmer, you could do both of these at the same time. My paper trimmer, my blade broke, and I just haven't gone out and bought more blades because I have a big paper trimmer, but I can't put that in camera, so we'll just do this. So we need this at 7 3/4. So on the short side, cut it down, and then 5.5. That snoring is Paddington, in case you hear it. And we're going to do the same thing on this piece. So 7 3/4 by, oh my gosh, see what I'm saying? My blade is very dull. 7 3/4 by 5.5. Okay, so there's our 4 pieces for the middle. Now we need to make these 4 pieces into the waterfall. I don't know why I keep closing the book. We need to make it into the waterfall or accordion booklet. And so on the short side, we're going to score all of them at 1/2 inch. So let's go ahead and pull out our scoreboard. So as y'all saw, when I do the 1/2 inch mark, sometimes I skip. And so I'm going to score these all at 5. It's just easier for me. So you can either score them at 1/2 inch or score it at 5, whichever one is easier for you to do. You just need 1/2 inch on one side. Okay. All right, so let's move these out the way. And you can get your tape, or again, you can use your glue. I'm just going to tape these ones real quick. So I'm going to put tape on all of them. I'm not one of the people who are too worried about whether or not the bumpy side out or the whatever side, whatever. That doesn't bother me. I just fold the paper and make it do what I want. So, this time my scoring is slightly off, but that's okay. We're not worried about that. I think with this one too. This one seems a lot bigger than a 1/2 inch, but that's okay. Sorry, I gotta keep getting my water because, like I said, I have the sinus infection and I'm dehydrated over here. All right, so my tape is down. Make sure all of them are varnished nicely. Okay, so what you're gonna do is go ahead and varnish your tape on 3 of them. You're gonna varnish your score line. Okay. So basically, you're just gonna attach them to make the booklet. So if it's easier for you to attach it like this and then attach it like, you know, just keep going. I know it's a little blurry, but you guys get the point. This booklet is going to go, you know, people are going to pull it in and out. So your score line is going to go both ways. And so I'm just varnishing my paper to make it easier for my accordion book to accordion. So just varnish your lines both ways. And actually you can do that to all 4 of them. So here's where I pull the tape back. And then I'm going to push it forward. Just to kind of train that score line to be ready to come in and out. Before anybody asks, this little tool is called the little Chiseler. I got this from Connie, who is 2G's Design. She's a local scrapbook store here. And you can use it to cut your score tape like I have. You can use it to varnish, use it to smooth glue out, whatever you need. And then I just have a regular bone folder. I use both of them. Sometimes on this heavier paper, I like this one because it's a little heavier, a little thicker than this one, but they both get the job done. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and start attaching my pages. For me, it's easier to go this way. So we're just gonna go. You can make the accordion at the end because we've already trained our paper to go both directions. And your last one. And see, when you varnish your score tape, you should be able to pick it from any portion of the backing and it just comes up smoothly. That's how you know you varnished it well. Okay, now I did, as you notice, I did not take the score tape off of that one because that needs to attach to our book. So now you just fold your book into an accordion, concertina, and this again. Train that paper so it is not opposed to go both directions. Okay, it's gonna pop open. There's nothing you can do about it, but it's fine. So now you need to decide. So you can see the seams. So you can see the seams on the booklet, but that's very easy to cover up. Again, you can use those border strips. You just cover it up with your paper. So I did my seams in the back, like facing down, but you can't tell because of the way that I have, excuse me, how I have decorated the paper. So you can put your seams wherever you want. It doesn't really matter. So let's go ahead and pull our base back out. Remember, we had this with our left and right flaps, the shorter side to the right. And now you need to attach your booklet right here, okay? And I don't think I centered it. Let me see what I did. Okay, no, I brought it all the way to the left and I opened it going to the right. So that way we have that extra peeping out. So you can center it, you can, you know, go to the left, you can go to the right, however you want. But I'm going to go ahead and have mine open again to the right, and I'm going to put it on the left. So there's still that border, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're just going to take our score tape off. Now I'll show you the trick with the glue. So we're just gonna, it kind of just makes your score tape a little tacky, so you have more than just that one chance to get it on there, but then it dries, you know, solid like score tape. So we're just gonna go ahead and add that. Center it from top to bottom, but you don't have to center it anywhere else. Okay, and so this will be covered up when you put your pattern paper down, your seam. Okay, very simple. All right, so now let's go ahead and build the, let's do the left side. So we need to build the left side, and it's going to be the two flaps right here, and then it's going to be the two flaps and a pocket on the front. Okay, I'm going to put something heavy just to hold this down to kind of train it. Okay, so those two flaps are, let's see, I did the middle. Chipboard. Okay, the left. Here we go. We need two pieces that are 5 1/4 by 7 3/4. So we can go back to our scraps if you want. I think these are, yep. You can use a scrap, you can use a whole new page, it doesn't matter. You just need two that are going to be 5 1/4 by 7 3/4. By 7 3/4. Okay, and then another that is 5 1/4 by 7 3/4. Okay. Okay. So now these ones on the long side, you do want to go ahead and score it at 1/2 inch on the, put the 7 3/4 side on the top and score it at 1/2 inch. Make sure you score it. If you're using your paper trimmer like me, make sure you score and you're not cutting. Or pull out your scoreboard, okay? All right, so you should have something that looks like this. And we're gonna go ahead and varnish and tape. Well, I'll tape first and then I'll varnish. So just tape the top. And again, you can pull out your corner chompers and Do whatever corner you want. You can round the edges, you can do the scallop, you can do the ticket punch, whatever your theme is, that's what you can do. Okay, and go ahead and get that in there. And we need to varnish this. And we need to burnish. Okay. All right, bring back our base. And let me get a paper clip, because that thing's gonna pop up and it's gonna annoy me. Okay. So now you're just gonna attach both of your flaps. You're gonna center them. As you can see, this one has a little bit of overhang on that glue. So you can either cut it off or just, you know, when you take the backing off, tuck it in. You just don't want it to overhang because it just looks tacky. All right, so the top center, and I'm just gonna go blurry because I have to move. I'm just trying to put it in top center, that's all. And I leave like the tiniest little sliver at the top of my book. I don't like it to go all the way to the edge. You might be all the way to the edger, so do whatever makes you feel comfortable. And when I'm on camera, I can't do this. Like if I'm not on camera, I can just drop and go and I'm happy with it. Okay. All right, well, I'm happy with that side. And oh. There we go. Okay. It is not centered at all. So you see how I didn't press very hard so I can pick it back up. I just need to not think about it. When I don't think about it, I just drop and go. Okay, that was perfect. Now I can really varnish that down. At this point, I cannot pull it up. So wherever it landed, that's it. Okay. And then you're gonna add your second flap right underneath. Excuse me. Right underneath that one, you're gonna butt it up against that quarter or that ½ inch. You're gonna make sure they're lined up, because I don't know how sometimes like your waterfall can end up being crooked, which I don't understand, because when you line it up exactly to the one in front of it, it shouldn't be crooked, right? But sometimes it happens. That one looks pretty good. All right, so we're gonna get that varnished. All right, so the inside flaps are done, and they are a little crooked, actually. They're two different sizes. I wonder if I grabbed the wrong. They'll be fine. Okay, so my pizza came, so I had to go eat dinner. But anyway, so on this flap, I had mismeasured this one of these flaps, and it was off, and it bothered me. And it wasn't off by much. It was this little piece here, but as you can see, it's thicker on the bottom than it was the top. And so I don't know, it just bothered me. So I just took my scissors and I cut it off, so that way my flaps were uniform. Okay, so that's our two inside flaps. Okay, now we need to work on the outer cover, which is this right here. So we had two flaps in a pocket. So we need, excuse me, the two flaps are 5 1/4 by 7 3/4, and the pocket is 6 1/4 by 3. So I'm gonna cut my pocket first from the scraps. So we need 6 1/4. Yep, by 3. I mean, it doesn't, your pocket can be any size you want, but I just know that the scraps have this piece in it, and that's what I used originally. So I'm just going to cut it down to 6 1/4. And it's already 3 inches, so. Okay, so let's cut down. Now, you need to score it on 3 sides at 1/2 inch. So you need to do, with the long side of the top, do both sides at 1/2 inch. And then you're just going to do one on the short side. You guys know how to make a pocket. So just score it like so. We might as well cut our other papers while we have the paper trimmer out. These are 5 1/4 by 7 3/4. So get a paper here. Okay. I could probably use this scrap over here, but I'm gonna leave that alone. All right, so 5 1/4 by 7 3/4. And then the same thing with the other page piece, 5 1/4 by 7 3/4. Okay. All right. Now on the little panels we just cut, we need to score them so they can open like so. So on the short side, you're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Ooh, I just almost cut it. You're going to score it. So put the 5 1/4 side on the top, and then do 1/2 inch score. Okay. All right. So that's all of our scoring done there. So we can go ahead and tape these if you want. We're just gonna tape it and varnish the tape and varnish the score line. Okay. I'm just gonna run my little tool like so. Fold on the score line. Heavy varnish, put some muscle into it. Same thing, fold on the score line and burnish. Okay, so I don't remember how I did this. I'm gonna have to cheat over here. All right, so the 2 flaps need to go down first. I might have attached them to the back. Let's see. Nope. All right, so dropping my projects from different projects on the floor. All right, let's back up. Let's go ahead and let's tape our pocket. Well, I'm trying to think what I did here. Some people like to cut their corners before they tape, but I tape first. That little piece of tape that you're going to cut off is not going to make or break the bank, but it makes it cleaner if you tape first and then cut your corners, I believe. Sometimes I'll do it the other way if I forget to tape first. Okay, so now we're just going to miter our corners to make the pocket corners, and we're going to burnish our sides. Mm. This one to me still has a little bit too much bulk, so I'm just going to cut some more off. There we go. All right. So it looks like I laid the sides down first and then the pocket. So we'll go ahead and do that. So basically we're just going to lay the sides, one over here and one over here. One on the left, one on the right. Okay. So score tape is off. I do everything upside down. It's just easier for me to do it upside down. So keep that in mind if you're looking at this and you're like, what in the world? I just do mine upside down. And we're going to center those flaps, I think. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to center the flaps. Okay, and that's too far over. And drop. Okay. You're okay, buddy. My puppy's not feeling well. All right. And now we're going to do the other flap. So we're still here. We're just doing this flap right here. We're putting more flaps on the left flap. Okay, and we are going to eyeball and drop. You could line up the two to make sure they line up, but I mean, you can go like this and then make sure they line up if you want. I usually just eyeball it and call it done, but for y'all's purpose, I'll go ahead and do it. Okay. All right. So there we have it, and I think I did left over right. So let's go ahead and varnish these on there. Okay. Open those back up, and we're gonna put our pocket there. I'm trying to decide if I want to glue down the pocket or give her an opportunity to mat first. Excuse me. I don't think it matters. I mean, you can always put paper in the pocket. All right, here's my pocket. I'm not going to punch the decorative middle. She's just going to have a straight pocket, or she can try to get the punch in there, I guess. So for my pocket, I'm going all the way down to the bottom, in between the two score lines. And there you go. Okay. So it should fit perfectly. So you just have like a little 1/8 of an inch border, which I didn't do perfectly on that. I'm gonna have to try to get this up. This is what I like about this super thick paper, that if you don't varnish it, you can sometimes slowly but gently pick it up. Okay. Okay, perfect. I need to do a better job here, because that piece was right on that score line, and I wouldn't have been able to open and close the book nicely. So now I kind of did it again. Okay, I got it back up. I need to make sure, first of all, that I put the book back to the correct top and bottom, which I did. But because I picked this up a couple times, I am going to add glue to it just to kind of refresh that sticky. And I don't know why I'm having such a problem with my pockets today. Like I said, if I'm just crafting by myself, I just drop and go. I don't think about it. And when I think about it, I overthink it. And then I get raggedy results. There we go. Okay, now I'm happy with these results. Now, this is it. Because I'm about to burnish it down. And once you do that, that's it. Okay. It's down. Okay. So that's that left side. And I'm going to put another clip. I got these really fun clips. They look like those little Google Earth pointers or like an ice cream cone. They were on Amazon. You got like 140 for like $2. So I don't mind sharing them. All right. If you have thinner paper, it won't pop up as much. And then once you decorate it, it won't pop up at all. All right, we're almost done. So we're going to move on to the right side. The right inside is the these pieces. The kind of big waterfall, if you will. Oh. So that one, you need, that's the left side. You need 4 pieces that are 5 1/4 by 7 7/8. So we're gonna go ahead and cut all 4 of those pieces. So let's cut this down to 7 7/8 first, and then we'll do 5 1/4 and 5 1/4. Okay, so now 5 1/4 and 5 1/4. We're gonna do that again with our second sheet. So make sure that's just one. 7 7/8, and then 5 1/4 and 5 1/4. Okay. Again, you can cut these down however, chomp the sides however you want. My example, I rounded my corners. These need to be scored on the short side at 1/2 inch. Right? Yep. Okay, so I went ahead and scored mine on the short edge at 1/2 inch. I taped and I varnished because my camera time is running low. So, or my storage, whatever. Okay, this is where your project is going to get bulky. Because I wanted that kind of waterfall-esque effect, I stacked them on top of each other in the book. So if you're using this thick paper, it's going to get a little bulky and this page is going to be a little heavy, but we're putting the heavy waterfall on the other side. And so that kind of counteracts the weight. So all you're going to do is center these on your right flap. Let me make sure I got the book going the right way. And that opens, okay, I do. So this is the inside right flap. So you just want to make sure that you put these in on either side, centered as best as you can. See, my recording light gives me too many shadows. That's okay. Okay. We're going to get that in there. And like I said, I just put the second one right on top of it. Make sure you don't have any glue overhang on the back. And right on top. Okay. And then you're going to do the exact same to the other side, whether you started on the right or you did the left, just do the opposite side. And we're going to put it on there. Obviously, if you have, if you're going to use the base with just pattern, like the heavy pattern paper, make sure your directional paper is correct. All right, and then we're going to take the second one and we're going to put it right on top. Make sure there's no overhang, and right on top. Again, if you want to be exact, you could have measured them up to make sure you got them in the right place, but for the most part, they're there. And then I just had it like that. Okay. If you want to see that again, I put left side, right side, left side, right side. And now we need to fold with this waterfall. Okay. So the waterfall on the front is going to be full, I'm lying to you, 7 pieces. So if you want it exactly like mine, you're going to need 7 pieces that are 4.5 by 4.25. And you're going to score 1/2 inch on the short side. Let me double check that. Hold on. Okay, mine are all ready to go. So 4.25 by 4.5. Score at 1/2 inch on the short side. So put the 4.25 side at the top of your scoreboard and score it at 1/2. You're going to peel your backing off and you're just going to make your waterfall. Okay. I'm not going to do all of them on camera because it's hard for me to see and I want them to be straight. So again, I turn mine upside down to do it. I can just see better. I don't know. And if you put these on the wrong direction, then you'll just have a waterfall coming down instead of flipping up. It's not a big deal, guys. All right, so all right, it's not going to be in camera because, like I said, I can't see because of these shadows. So, that's about centered. It's not. But anyway, so you're going to put them on and keep going. You'll just put your next one, like a normal waterfall. You'll butt it right up to that first one, making sure you put it on straight so you don't have like this extra. See how that's not straight? So you want to make sure that you get them on straight. Okay. All right, last 2. And so we're edging it up, making sure it's straight, pressing it down. And last one, no overhang. And we're gonna edge it up, make sure it's not crooked, and go. Okay. So there's your 7 waterfalls. You can do more if you want. I just wanted that big space right here. But you can definitely do more pieces. So mine went a little bit crooked, but nothing to redo the project about. So now we need to keep our waterfall from standing straight up. So we're going to go ahead and make this piece here. And mine is magnetized, so I'm going to go ahead and put the magnets on for her. So for that piece, you need a piece that is 2 by 5.5. And again, this piece can be however long you want. I just liked mine all the way up. Well, I guess it's not all the way up to the top, but, and you can do it as thick as you want. I just like the 2.5, so, or excuse me, 2 inches by 5.5, and put the long side at the top, and you're gonna score it at 1/2 inch. I do all of my score marks at 1/2 inch because I like using that 3/8, 7-inch score tape. And also you don't have to worry about trying to fight with the 1/4 inch. When I started crafting, I started with the 1/4 inch things, and it's just too much, just too stressful. But 1/2 inch is perfect. Okay, so we're gonna tape that like so. Now that's just gonna get taped in the center of your waterfall. You're gonna center it to your waterfall. Don't center it to your page, because if your waterfall, like mine, is not exactly excuse me, not exactly centered, it's gonna look a little funky. So I'm just gonna center it to the waterfall, or as close to the center as possible. And you can be technical and make sure that you know, is exact, but I'm okay with that. So you're just gonna get as far down to the bottom as you want. I always leave like this little tiny gap. I'm a gapper. Some people are not. Okay, so there you are. And now we're gonna go ahead and add our magnets. I'm gonna use, so on my other one, oh, I do have some left. I have large, so you need a positive and a negative. I mean, I guess you can use the small ones too, just use a couple of them, but with this thick paper, I'm going to go ahead and just use one large, and it doesn't matter what size is what. Okay, come on. So I'm just going to stick it. You don't want to get too close to the top, but also we have to remember that we need to fit it here. So I'm going to go probably should have made this just a little bit longer, or use the smaller magnet, but that's okay. That's fine. All right. So I'm going to put mine, this one's going to be a little closer to the edge than what I wanted, but it's okay. Like so. Okay. Now, what you're going to do, and this is a Rosa Kelly trick too, you're going to take a piece of score tape and put it sticky side up, and then put your magnet back how it's supposed to be. And then when you stick it down, it'll be ready. Except for this one is going to be a little bit different, because I don't want the magnet on right here. I want it to go underneath this page, so that way it's forcing it to stay down. So we're still going to do the old trick with the score tape. The only difference is that you're going to take it off, and you're going to, this is probably more complicated than what it needs to be, but this is what I did, and this is what I'm comfortable with. And so you just kind of shove your magnet underneath there with your score tape until it finds the other piece, and then it'll be perfect on there when you close it. Or you can do this other method that I saw, where you just scribble on here with pencil, smush it down, and it kind of leaves the impression of where it needs to go. See that? And then you can see it on the other side as well. Either way, it doesn't matter. And then you could, if you just lightly do the score tape, you can just make sure that your magnets are going to meet and go from there. I put mine on upside down. Yeah, I forgot that point, because I'm going underneath. That's the score tape needs to go on the sticky side, I'm making this way more complicated than what it has to be, guys. Y'all feel it. I'm sure you guys are yelling at me like, what is wrong with you? Okay. That's why I wouldn't find it, because I had it on the wrong side. My bad. Come on. When I did this on my own, it did not give me any problems whatsoever. Okay, I figured out the problem. My magnet is, oh, now that, see, it's not strong enough to hold it down. Interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more smaller magnets. Just to, I'm missing a magnet. Just to ensure that it holds nicely, because this is for someone else. And so let's go ahead and just add a few more magnets, and then we're good to go. It should hold it just fine. I didn't think that I didn't think about the thick paper, to be honest. All right, so I'm gonna get these magnets placed, and then we're good to go. Okay, even with the help of the little magnets, I still couldn't hide it underneath that top, and so it has to be on top here. Oh my gosh. And so we're gonna do the old Rosa Kelly trick here. If I can get these apart, they're super strong magnets, but not strong enough to hold the paper down underneath. All right. So what we're gonna do is just go ahead and take some score tape and just kind of put a piece of score tape in there, so that way it's easy and it will hold it. I don't know. I just don't like the magnets to be on the top. I don't mind it being underneath right here. I just didn't like it on the top. So, whatever. But with this super thick paper, what I just learned, your magnets have to be on top. Like so. Okay? All right. So, actually, that's our last step. So, the book is done. Now, all you would do is, when you wrap and assemble your chipboard, in this case, I used 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 white pieces of paper. I cut them down to 8 by whatever. Whatever this measurement plus 2 inches. So I cut it down to 8 by 12, roughly. by 18. I mean, 8 by 18 is what the measurement is after you glue 2 pieces together. And then all you do is just center your book. You're gonna glue it, score tape it, whatever you want to do, and just put it in the center of your binding system of your book. And that's it. And it is done. And that's it, guys. So I hope you make this fun little book. If you're into Halloween, definitely get these beautiful Halloween collection by Kim Murray on Salty Beach Scrappers. Here's her collection, this page, the witches, these inside pages. Again, I have a full walkthrough on my channel that you can see just the beautiful pictures. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Bye.